What's going on, YouTube and sword nerds? So today I have kind of a showcase overview, initial impressions video on the Romance of Men Maki Katana. This sword was graciously provided for review by Romance of Men. So I didn't pay anything for this, but I will just kind of let you know from my perspective if I had, what I like about it, what I don't, and hopefully give you guys something to think about if you're curious about Romance of Men as a company and what kind of quality you can expect from their swords. This is the second sword that I own from them. So I'll kind of be comparing this sword with the one that I currently own, which is the Fukyo Katana. If you search up videos of that sword, you'll definitely see a lot of reviews from all the kind of sword YouTubers. But one of the reasons why I chose this sword is because I personally am not a fan of kind of gaudy fittings. I like a more subdued look, especially on swords in this price range. This sword on their website is listed for $147. So that's an awesome price. And just keep in mind that everything that I say and all of my opinions are through the lens of this sword is $150. So you can't expect the world from it, and I don't expect the world from it, and you should adjust your expectations accordingly. So I have zero expertise in this. I am not a practitioner. I'm just a dude who has started collecting swords and kind of wants to share some high quality video of different swords that I have in case anybody finds that interesting. So I'm just going to kind of ramble on and show you guys the Suka, the Saya, and the blade. But yeah, I love this sword because it has that kind of subdued, elegant aesthetic other than the Habaki. I think that this is the kind of sword that I want to see in this price range. Something simple, something elegant, and something where the money is put into important things. So let's kind of just get into the fit of the Suka, the fittings, all that jazz. So let's take a look at the profile first. It's a very thin Suka. The knots don't stand out too far. They're pretty flush. Let's take a look at the Kashra. So the Kashra is just a simple black, which I like because, if you don't try to do anything crazy, there's not really a whole lot you can mess up here. And this looks nice. You can see the casting marks there. Let's see. And you guys will have to bear with me. Even though the lighting looks good and the background looks good, I have no idea what I'm doing. So, looks really nice. It's on there tight. One of the things that, if you're a practitioner, you might want to know is that this knot here, oh, look at that, it just came undone. So I have barely done anything to this. I've filmed this video a few times and got super frustrated with my, tendency to be a perfectionist. And I've kind of wiggled this around a little bit, but this is all I've done to it, and it just came undone. So there you have it. This is something that can be worked on, I think. If anybody has any tips on how to fix this or where I need to tighten it up, let me know. But if we look at the transitions, they're very nice. The transition to the Ito is great. It has this very nice kind of subtle Rico hourglass shape to it. Very thin, as I said. The Samegawa looks genuine to me. And I personally like black Samegawa on swords that are, I don't know, maybe like 300 and under. Just because when it's white, I feel like it draws your eyes and you're much more likely to kind of fixate on the quality of the Samegawa. And usually at the lower price points, the quality is not that great, or it's just fake. And this, when it's black, I think it looks a lot more subdued and you're not really drawn to kind of interrogate the Samegawa. So I think it looks nice. The knots are pretty tight. This does not have Hishigami, and for those of you who don't know what that is, I'm sure most of you do, but it's basically these triangle pieces of paper that are fit in between the folds of these triangles here, and it leads to a much tighter ito. But this is quite tight. Let's see if I can get that there. So I'm pushing on that as hard as I can, and it's not really going anywhere. These little top parts move a little bit, but I would say this is nice. The tightness is great. That's not so great, but if that didn't happen, then I'm sure this would stay tight. It has two Makugi pins, one here and then one under this little guy right here. And if we move over to the Manuki, you really can't tell what that is. It's probably a dragon or something. But it almost looks like before they wrapped the ito, they just lacquered over. They had the Manuki in there and just lacquered over the Samegawa and the Manuki. It's kind of what it looks like. Let's see if I can get a little bit closer to it. There we go. So I would actually much rather have all black on a sword like this. Like I said with the Samegawa, it doesn't draw your eye to the, less than stellar casting. So I'm okay with this. If we move over to the Fuchi, let's see here. Can get it under the light here. So if we move over to the Fuchi, it's just a simple black. Same with the Suba. You can see the casting marks here. Again, Seppa is just what you would normally see on any other sword, just brass, standard Seppa. The Suba has kind of a, cloud design or something. But it's very nice, very smooth. There's no sharp edges or anything when you're holding it in your hand. You don't feel anything kind of cutting into your hand. The Habaki fits the blade very well. I'm not a huge fan of brass Seppa or Habaki. I much prefer it to be made out of copper. And on their website, they do offer several different Habaki options. So that's something to take note of. And let's go ahead and look at the saya, which incidentally is my favorite part of this package. So this did not come with the sword, and I believe it was like a $30 upcharge or something if you paid for it. But it does have brass, or not brass, it has horn fittings. Not sure what kind of horn that is, but this saya looks great. In my opinion, this looks awesome. It has kind of a Samegawa texture on it. I'm not sure if this is real or if it's just textured wood that's been lacquered over, but it's nice. The Sageo is a nice quality. Their Fukyo katana has, and a lot of other models on their website have kind of a shoelace string thickness of Sageo, just a very low quality Sageo. This is, I would say, very nice for the price. I like the dual tone. And actually, why don't we point this out? So the brown of the Ito is slightly different from the brown on, the brown on the Sageo is slightly different than the brown on the Ito. And on the preview here, it kind of looks like this is a dark burgundy, but it's actually like a dark chocolate color. And then the rest of the saya is just a black lacquer. If we look at the end here, very nice. Very nicely done. I mean, there's no scratches, no marring, nothing. It's just immaculate. It also fits the blade very well. There's no rattling. Let's go ahead and take a look at, oh shit. Let's take a look at the fit of the saya. And you can see how the Koiguchi here is basically the same width as the Fuchi, which I really like. I feel like the transition there is very nice. A lot of times in my experience, on cheaper swords, you'll have a saya that's kind of a one-size-fits-all, so it needs to be a little bit bigger than the actual blade needs it to be. And it kind of throws off the vibes of the sword. I think this looks very nice. And let's go ahead and take a look at this blade. And just bear with me with the focus. It's got a beautiful hamon. This blade is made of T10 steel. And it has an Unakubi Zakuri blade geometry. So that means it has the bohi and then the smaller sohi that runs along the almost the entire length of the blade. And then the spine of the blade tapers down as you get to the tip here. And let's take a look at the tip of the blade. If we can get it to focus. Is that focused? Yeah, there we go. Very nicely done. And the hamon is, you can kind of see different lighting, you know, along the blade right now, but it's not visible in all light. Looks almost tarnished in some light and then very prominent in other light. But when you can see it, let's see if we can, it looks beautiful. Very nice. The polish on this sword is also very nice. Almost a mirror polish. The flats of the blade are flat, as they should be. See if we can get one more look at the tip here. And this blade is sharp, very, very sharp. This isn't their, so Romance of Men has several different sharpness options that you can get on their swords. This is not the sharpest, but it's razor sharp. So the Fukyo katana, the other one that I have, is considered their razor sharp. That's like their highest level of sharpness. And that katana costs $200 and has, I would say, a significantly worse polish job on it. You can see a lot of the machining, kind of fine scratches in the blade. But this blade, you can't really see any of that. It's really excellent. Feels nice and lively in the hand. Very light. Almost feels like the blade ends right here. And you got just some weightlessness at the tip, which is nice. I'm not sure if that matters for a practitioner, but for cutting pool noodles, it's nice. Anyway, if you've watched this far, I appreciate it. I wasn't sure if this channel or kind of doing this would get any viewers or help anybody, but it seems like the community is strong and supportive, and it seems like something I'll probably keep doing. But if you've watched this far, I appreciate it. You guys are awesome, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.